Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will continue with what the property which we had learned with Laplace transform. Now we will do the inverse Laplace transform. Say if I can go from t to s, can I come back and is the transformation unique? What are the properties that are preserved in this transformation going from s domain to back to t domain? Okay, so as I mentioned earlier that we will deal with essentially our causal signals, and therefore the integration we compute is essentially from 0 to infinity. In that case, transformation or the inverse Laplace transform tends to be unique. So as I said earlier, inverse Laplace transform help me to go from s domain to t domain, and there is a reason why we are actually doing this, which will be obvious few slides from now. So how do I compute this? X is the inverse Laplace transform. For computing it, inverse Laplace transform of xs can be computed by 1 by j and integration of ext into xs ds. So this L inverse is called as inverse Laplace transform operator. Now one could be tempted to believe that I write any expression in S and there will be exist an inverse Laplace transform, while that's not true. Okay, so inverse Laplace transform, for example, for do not exist when xs is equals to s. Even it is not existing for xs. Say if it is s square plus a square by a. So these are special kind of transform which we will deal later on. Okay, but just to suggest that anything written in s function do not necessarily have an equivalent t domain representation. So similar to Laplace transform, there are also some good properties of inverse Laplace transform, right? And then these properties will simplify the process of finding the inverse of xs for a complicated looking expressions, right? And this is the one of the usefulness of Laplace transform is also due to the fact that inverse Laplace transform is easy to determine, or most of the times easy to compute, and therefore we can start from time domain, okay, go to s domain, do the computation, then come back to t domain. Okay, so back to all these properties which we have learned earlier, they also exist here. The first thing is linearity property. So I have two signals in Laplace domain denoted as xs, x1s and x2s, with their equivalent inverse being x1t, x2t. Now if I have to combine these two signals, that I have ax1s plus bx2s, the inverse of this entire sum would be times the inverse of x1, which is ax1t, plus b times x2t, which is inverse of x2s. Okay, so which means let's do a little example. Suppose I want to compute a Laplace inverse of a signal which look like this: 1 by s plus 1 by s plus a. Okay, and I know that Laplace inverse of 1 by s is 1, and Laplace inverse of 1 by s plus a is e to the power minus a t. So that has a straightforward property, so I will just add them because these signals in S domains are sum of them, same will be in time domain. Okay, now let me just clear it. Next I have a time shift property. This again is which we had in transformation from xt to xs. So suppose I have xs with an inverse of xt. Now I replace s with s minus s naught. Then equivalently in time domain signal would be, of course, xt would remain as it is, and I have an extra signal e s naught which is shift in time here. Okay, so let us take a signal which look like this. I want to compute Laplace inverse of s minus a s minus a square plus omega square. Okay, right? So with s being transformed as s minus a, this thing look like this. Okay, so this means that I can use this property for time shifting, that my signal in time domain would be now just look like e to the power at. Now I know the inverse of this guy. The inverse of this guy is simply cos omega t. S by s square plus omega square is cos omega t, and the time shifting is shown by e to the power ad, where a is s naught in this case. Okay, similar with time scaling. So I start with a signal again xs with an inverse of xt. I multiply s by then inverse, I just say 1 by a xt by a. T is now replaced by a t by a. Okay, that is 1 by a x into t by a. So let again do some example, and there are pretty simple looking example, like I want to find out inverse Laplace transform for 2s divided by 4s square plus 1. So it is almost like s is replaced by 2s. Okay, s is replaced with 2s. Again the cosine square kind of signal, cosine t. So this will simplify by 1 by a. A is my 2 here. Now the inverse of original signal is cos t. Now t is replaced with t by 2. So that is simple way of computing this. So time reversal. Time reversal is very straightforward. Xs goes to xt. Therefore x minus s goes to x minus t. So need not have any example over here for this. Next is multiplication by s. So take a signal xs with an inverse of xt, then s into xs, the inverse would again, if I start with the original signal s, that is x, and I just differentiate it, well, assume that x dx at initial condition is 0. So again a simple nice looking example. Say take inverse Laplace transform of a into s upon s square plus a square. Okay, so in I'm having s plus multiply by a by s square plus a square. Okay, so this is my xl, and I am multiplying it with s. Okay, so what is equivalent xt? For this, xt is simply sin 80. Okay, inverse of a by s square plus a square is sin 80. So by doing by this s into xs would simply be differentiation of original signal. So inverse Laplace transform of this guy would be, this whole guy would be differentiation with of original signal. So d by dt of original signal is cos 80. With a. Okay, now you can take Laplace of this and you can go back over here. Okay, which is inside this bracket. Laplace of this is this, and inverse Laplace of this term is a cos 80. Similarly, you will have division. I will just clear it once. Next is your division by s. So would you give you the integration of original signal. Suppose xx is xt, then xs divided by s is your integration of your time domain signal. So you can see, or we can observe that we are actually using these arrows both side. I can go from here to here and here to here. Okay, so well, I don't think we need an example. Let's quick do that also. Inverse of 1 by s plus 1. So I can write it as L inverse 1 by s into 1 by s plus 1. So this is my xs, which is divided with s. Okay, now this can be equivalently written as, see, inverse of xx is e to the power t. Okay, minus t, plus is here, so it will be e to the power minus t. Now to find xs by s, I just have to integrate this. So I can integrate it as 0 to t e to the power minus tau d tau. So if you calculate it, you will get a value of 1 minus e to the power minus t. Now you can just do the Laplace transform of this and recover the original signal. Okay. Next is your frequency differentiation. So if I am in Laplace domain, dx inverse of that is xt, and if I am differentiating this signal, okay, then I have to multiply with minus t. Okay, as much as I will generalize it also, let's do a simple example first. Suppose I have a signal. I say I start with xx is equals to 1 by s, differentiation of x s with respect to s will be minus 1 by s square. Okay, now inverse of 1 by s square, 1 by s square, it is nothing else inverse of d by ds of 1 by s. So 1 by s is my xs, x into s, right? And the time equivalent of this xs is 1 or unit step signal, 1 into ut, and this is multiplied by minus t, because you can see original signal is multiplied by 1 minus t. So this will be simply minus t. So inverse of 1 by s square is minus t. And similarly for frequency integration, so I have xs, again go to xt, so integration of s to infinity of xu du will be 1 by t into xt. So I will not do an example for this, but it's straightforward to verify once we know the property of frequency differentiation. Frequency integration is easy to verify. The other important property is what we learn again in signal is the property of convolution. So why do we do this? Okay, so essentially because in control terminology or in control system, you essentially, what we saw in our first lecture is, if I have an input which goes through a system, could be something here. So if I want to measure an output yt, and I have given an input at ut to my system ht, and I want to measure this output yt. So this yt in some sense some kind of combination of ut and ht. Okay, and in signal term this would be convolution of ut times ht. This is convolution and is defined by this property, and this is also commutative. ht convolved with ut. So convolution is mathematical way of combining two signal to get a third one. So here my input together with system to get my output of the system. I have to convolve the two signals, my input signal with system. So this is how we view things in control. So let me just erase this. Okay, so it is integral that measure the area overlap of one signal as it is time shifted over the another, and it's formulated as a signal, one signal xt is overlapped over time shifted signal, okay, over yt. So why it is important for us? It is important tool to study the response of system for a given input, because throughout the course it is important for us to study the response of the system yt for system A. Means I have to identify the system response for the system ht, and my input is ut. So combination of them will give me my system response. Okay, so this is not simply multiplication that ut times ht will give me yt. This is a little more complicated than that. So let's see that I have two functions, two rectangular function ft and gt, and we will see how a convolution of two signals will give me a triangular signals. So I will just play a video. Okay, this blue one and red color are two signals, two rectangular signals. Okay, and yellow is the area. As area is increasing, then area is decreasing. So area under this convolution of f and g is giving me this black, given by this black signal. You will see that it is increasing, then it is decreasing. Okay, so the convolution of two signals or two rectangular waveform is just a triangular wave, the black signal over here. So this actually looks quite complicated if you look at even the expression that I have actually compute you know that x tau yt minus tau d tau, and so to get a signal which are the output of those, and this is actually become too complicated sometime to do the integration. Okay, so in time domain determine the convolution of two signals become very complicated depending on the signals, but when they are transformed into Laplacian domain, the convolution things become very straightforward. So what is convolution theorem says? Say if I have a signal in time domain xt and yt, and I want to take a convolution of them. So in S domain it is simple multiplication of their Laplace transform, their individual Laplace transform. So the convolution of xt with yt, a very simple multiplication of x s into ys. So therefore if I now look at the terms of control what are written earlier, and that I will just use a pen. I had ut, okay, which is convolved with ht, okay, and it will give me yt. So now I will transfer my signal to Laplace domain. It will be ys, and convolution will be simple multiplication of individual Laplace transform us and ys. So convolution become a very simple multiplication of or a product, and this actually help to solve lot of problem. So if I want to see how a signal look in time domain giving ut and ht, I first go to Laplacian domain, I will compute it, and then I will again do the inverse Laplace transform. Okay, so this trick we know how to compute with several property, and therefore studying convolution become a very easy property just by multiplying an inverse Laplace transform. Okay, I will just clear it once. So I'm just repeating that convolution in time domain becomes a product in S domain, and these rules help in solving many problems related to convolution and inverse Laplace transforms. Okay, so now we will see some examples. As an example, I want to find a convolution of signal psi tut and sin tut, and this is like unit step signal. So xt is sin t ut and yt is tut. So if I just go with the formula, okay, I will just substitute the signals. I substituted both the signal. This is yt, this is my xt. Okay, and since this is unit step signal which is starting at t equals to 0, so my integration will also start from 0 to infinity. Okay, so I have to solve this kind of complicated looking integral, right? So instead what I could do is I can just go to Laplacian domain or S domain, where I compute Laplace of sin t ut. Sin t ut Laplace is 1 by s square plus 1, and t Laplace transform is 1 by s square. So multiplication of them is 1 by s square plus 1 into s square. And I can write the sum of these two Laplace transform, and this is the sum of two Laplace transform, and I know that the inverse of 1 by s square is t, and inverse of 1 by s square plus 1 is sin t. So t minus sin t is my convolution of x and y signal in time domain. So I don't have to go through this complex process of computing this integral. Okay, so one advantage we saw so far is that Laplace transform easily help us in computing the convolution, where convolution is just a multiplication. And the second advantage is in solving ordinary differential equation. So solving ordinary differential equation in S domain is much simpler because it will convert ordinary differential equation into algebraic equations. So let us take an example. I have double differentiation of x plus 2 into single differentiation minus x equals to 0. So I will use differential properties and solve it, means differential property of Laplace transform, and then solve this equation and convert into S domain. Okay, so I can see this is a linear expression. This expression is a linear expression. So differential equation has now transformed into linear equation, and I know very well how to solve linear equation, and this Laplace transform is applicable to lot of signals like continuous signals, piecewise continuous, periodic, step and impulse functions. Okay, so property of Laplace transform enable its calculation to be very easy. In property of inverse Laplace transform make it convenient to transfer back to time domain after necessary analysis in S domain. We will just see how we could do that. So let us consider a simple RLC circuit. So I have a voltage source, I have a resistance, I have an inductor, I have a capacitor, and let's say all the initial conditions are set at 0. Okay, so all the initial conditions over here, initial current across inductor is 0, initial voltage across capacitor is 0. Okay, my voltage source is unit step, and for computation purpose we are assumed that R is equals to 2, L is equals to 1 and C is equals to 1 Faraday. So the first thing I would know is I will apply KVL to get the dynamics of the system. So Vt is equals to R it plus L di by dt plus 1 by C integration of I with respect to time. Now the Laplace transform of V is Vs, for I it is Is. Okay, R is constant, then differentiation of I would multiply is with s, and L remains as it is, then with some initial condition which are assumed to be 0, and we will see that why this guy also eventually will go to 0, because an inductor do not allow a rapid change in current. Okay, then integral property I dt would be is by s with c remaining as it is. So if I want to solve for current, the current would be is vs by r plus s plus 1 by cs, right? Just this differential equation is transformed to very nice linear equation over here. So let us try to find out how the solution look like for these values. Okay, so I have r plus s l plus 1 by sc. I substitute value ut is the unit step, therefore vs is 1 by s, and for value r, l and c, I think this would correspond to r equals to 2, right? In this expression this would correspond r equals to 2, this l is 1, this c is 1. Okay, this vs is 1 by s. So this is my expression for current for the given values. So now I have this in Laplace form. I can easily compute what is in time equivalent of that. So the time equivalent of that is an inverse of this guy. Okay, so in Laplace form, inverse of 1 by s plus 1 to the power 2. So I can use the property of inverse Laplace transform to get the signal in time domain. So if I just take the property of inverse, and the signal would be t e to the power minus t, which is the solution which I am looking for, right? So the differential equation or dynamic initials were transformed to linear equation, okay, to get an expression for current. Then I will do again an inverse Laplace transform to get the expression in time domain. Hence current for this circuit in time domain is t into t e to the power minus t. Okay, now I will do some another example with non-zeros with some initial condition, non-zero initial conditions. Okay, so solve using Laplace transform this double differentiation of y minus 2 single differentiation minus 8 y equals to 0, where initial conditions are that signal y at 0 is 3 and differentiation of signal y at 0 is 6. The first step would be to write the equation in Laplace domain. So this would be s square ys minus s y naught minus first differentiation of y at 0. So this is Laplace transform of double differentiation. So this would means that ys could be written just in the term of an expression like this. Okay, now 2 single differentiation of y is converted in minus 2 brackets s ys minus y signal at in 0. Its value is 3. Over here this is 6. Solve for ys, then you will get an expression as ys is equal to 3s s square minus 2s minus 8. Okay, so apply the rule of partial fraction which we would have learned while doing the solution of equation. I can write ys as a composition of 2 by s minus 4 plus 1 by s plus 2, and I can now easily do inverse Laplace to find out that what is inverse Laplace of 2? 2 will be constant, so it is outside. Inverse Laplace of 1 by s minus 4, and similarly inverse Laplace of 1 by s plus 2. Give me the following expression of by t. Right? So again the process becomes very straightforward. I am just now solving linear equation in S domain, and then I am applying inverse Laplace transform to get the solution. Right? So to summarize, what we have learned in this lecture is the inverse Laplace transform and its property, a very beautiful property of convolution, where the convolution test translate now into a very simple multiplication in S domain and solving ODEs using Laplace transform. Thank you.